What if I told you that failure isn't the end? It's the beginning. If you've ever felt like quitting after a setback, you're in good company. Some of the most successful people in history built their greatest achievements atop mountains of failure. But here's the secret. They didn't succeed in spite of those failures. They succeeded because of them. Today, we're breaking down the real stories of inspiring failures that turned ordinary people into legends, and drawing out powerful lessons that you can use right now to master your own life. Let's start with a story you might know, but not the way you think. In 1997, a woman sat alone in a cafe, broke, divorced, and raising a child by herself. She'd just been rejected by 12 major publishers. "You're wasting your time," her friend said. But instead of giving up, she rewrote, improved, and submitted her manuscript again. The 13th publisher took a chance. That woman? J.K. Rowling. Her Harry Potter books are now one of the best-selling series in history. But here's what matters for you. Rowling's real breakthrough wasn't magic. It was grit and relentless belief in a dream, even when the world said no. Think that's just one-off luck? Take a closer look at Steve Jobs. By the age of 30, he'd co-founded Apple, been fired from his own company, lost millions, and was told he was too volatile to be a leader. Most people would walk away. Instead, Jobs used his time away from Apple to start anew, founding Next and steadily building Pixar. When Apple hit a crisis, Jobs returned, bringing with him all the lessons failure had hammered into him. Result? He revived Apple and led it to become the world's most valuable brand. His story proves being sidelined by failure is often the setup for your comeback, but only if you choose to use what you've learned instead of letting it define you. Let's make it practical. You've probably faced moments where your work is rejected or you're not picked for a dream opportunity. The first instinct is to doubt yourself, to think, maybe I'm not cut out for this. But here's what all these stories reveal. Rejection is just redirection. Each no is feedback, not a final judgment. What happened if Jobs walked away forever? Or if Rowling stopped after 12 rejections? The world would be missing billion-dollar creations, all because of a single premature no. Now let's break down a few bite-sized strategies you can use right now to turn your own setbacks into stepping stones. First, reframe your failures. Thomas Edison, the inventor of the light bulb, supposedly experimented with over 1,000 materials before he found the solution. "I have not failed," he said. "I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Next time something collapses, ask, what did I learn? What can I do differently next time? This mindset shift turns failure from something that stops you into something that shapes you. Second, normalize setbacks. Ever heard of Sarah Blakely? As the founder of Spanx, she built a billion-dollar brand from her own savings. Growing up, her father would ask at the dinner table, "What did you fail at today?" If she and her brother didn't have an answer, he was disappointed. Why? Because he knew that failing meant they were trying new things and pushing their limits. That's how Sarah built the resilience to handle the hundreds of rejections from manufacturers and investors on her way to success. Lesson: let setbacks be evidence of bold attempts, not of weakness. Data backs this up. According to a University of Scranton study, only 8% of people actually achieve their New Year's goals. The difference? The ability to adapt after failure. Success isn't about avoiding falls. It's about how quickly you get up and try again. Let's talk psychology for a minute. Stanford psychologist Carol Dweck found that people with a growth mindset, those who believe abilities are developed, not fixed, are more willing to persist, adapt, and learn from mistakes. When you fail, your brain literally rewires itself to handle challenges better the next time. That means every failure is upgrading you, if you're willing to reflect and course correct. And then there's Walt Disney. Did you know he was fired from a newspaper job for lacking imagination? His first animation studio went bankrupt, but Disney refused to let rejection bury him. He kept refining his vision, and after multiple failed attempts, finally created Mickey Mouse, and a legacy that shaped global culture. The lesson is clear. If you're willing to outlast your setbacks, you'll outgrow them. Now, what can you do today? Try this. Write down your biggest recent setback or failure. Get curious about it. What did it teach you about yourself, your craft, or your approach? Next, list one mini action you can take to apply that lesson. Not tomorrow, not next week. Today. It could be sending one more application, rewriting your pitch, or just asking for feedback. The point isn't to erase the failure, it's to use it as raw material to build something better. Here's another powerful insight. Most high performers keep what's called a failure resume. Instead of just listing out their wins, they keep a log of every failed interview, rejected idea, or lost client. And next to each one, they write what it taught them. This isn't about beating yourself up. It's about making failure visible so it doesn't scare you anymore. Try it for a month and watch your fear of failing shrink and your ability to rebound grow. The pattern you see in all these stories, Rowling, Jobs, Edison, Disney, and Blakely, isn't superhuman talent. It's their willingness to keep moving forward, stay adaptable, and view each failure as a necessary step. The myth is that there's this straight line from effort to greatness. The truth? It's messy, full of missteps, but always moving forward. Remember, the difference between the people you admire and those who never quite break through isn't what they did. It's how they handled what didn't work. So, the next time you stumble, or the project bombs, or someone shuts the door on your idea, don't ask, why me? Instead ask, what's the lesson here? How can I use this to level up? Because every legendary success story starts with a moment of crushing defeat. But the next chapter? That's always up to you. Use your failures. Build with them. And when others give up, let that be the moment you start again. Wiser, stronger, and one step closer than yesterday. That's how legends are made.